Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 5 in our series of Tosser videos. We are Trade On Sporters, traders not tipsters, and in this episode I'll be showing you the front console of the Gamestate application and some of the hidden features you can sort through to find these trades. Now I've taken a freeze frame from last night which is still active. It's a bit later on when it wasn't so busy. We did have a lot of alerts last night, so I'm going to just go through this and I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you so you can see it a bit better and show you some of the features. So this is what you're presented with on a normal trading day, and it can look a lot busier than this on a Saturday or a Sunday. This is late in the evening, and at first appearance it can be quite overwhelming. One must remember that this is not an in-play console. What you're looking at is a trading exchange full of data. The more you use it, it goes without saying, the better you'll become, the more fluent and the more easily you'll be able to filter down good trades. So at the moment I'm just going to start from top left to right, and the obvious tabs up here. We've discussed the stats tab in the video. We have the coming up tab which gives you all the fixtures, whether they are in play or not for that day. The in play tab now, which is what we are looking at. The strategies at the back end, I would say use them as a guide and don't take them for what they are. They are your intro to Gamestate application, and you are required to really go looking at your trades, as I explain in this video, to really kind of cherry pick the good ones. And of course the help tab for assistance. So as we come down, we go to the second line and we can actually filter a league. So if we type in Premier, any Premiership games that were taking place would appear, and we've dismissed the rest. We can also filter first half games in progress to see what's happening in those, and as you can see we have 4 in progress. 0-0 in 3 of those, and a goal has occurred in the Hungary match, and we can see that the total sample state and the GSA has started to populate the data into that score line. If we work along, we have half time, obvious games at half time at the moment in play, and the second half, which is where we like to do all of our work. We don't really kind of associate ourselves with 0-0 draws at half time. I like to play my trades in the last 20 to 25 minutes of the second half, because obviously there are more goals, and 0-0 for me is a scoreline that sees much less goals from half time than say 0-2 or 2-0. And with 90 minutes we return to all of the games in play. So working along from there, we can filter down to see which games have had a first half goal, where we have some value in the odds. So let me explain this. We see some pinks and we see some dark blues and light blues. The way this works is very simple really. The Gamestate application has worked out, for example, if we go down to Setchball versus Rio Avenue, 78th minute, the score is 1-1, and I hover over that blue tab. It's taken a sample size of 15 and told us that there's a probability of 78.95% that this game will finish in a draw. And above that in bold we have the Betfair current odds at 2.12, quite generous, so quite a bit of value in that trade. And we can see with the tab underneath, the Betfair to Gamestate probability difference is a massive 31.78%. Now, there was a goal in this game, so it doesn't always work. You could have maybe gone in there and tried to scalp the draw for 10 minutes as the price dives out from 75, but you would have come unstuck. So bear that in mind when you're looking for value on these tabs, that they don't always necessarily work out to the probability rate that you see. And again, if we move over to the right and we look at the under 2.5, so that's probably married to the draw as well, and we can see that there has been 78.95% chance of unders. Gamestate probability calculating should be implied odds of 1.27 and currently Betfair offering 2.34. Again, you would have had a losing trade there, but this is just to highlight to you during match days where these value trades pop up, and this applies to next goal, as we've done in the video, the home odds, the away odds. So let's talk about the pink. The pink is exactly the opposite. It works like Betfair. It's a lay bet. It's not something I really get involved in because the lay prices are usually very high. I just usually look at the back trades. Okay, so we switch value odds off now, and we've gone back to our full status of games. Now we work along the left-hand side, and some obvious tabs here. We've got the time of the match, the minutes played, and that can be sorted in ascending and descending order. The time of the first goal, the score in the match now, which also can be sorted into ascending and descending numbers. And we can see here it's 3-2 in the Portugal game, Benfica. There's been quite a few goals in the second half there, and at half time it was 0-1. And here's an interesting little feature I didn't find out too much about until I started exploring on the front end of the console. At half time, if we hover over the status column, it will indicate to us the projected goals for the second half based on the half-time scoreline and the time of the goal. In this case, G plus 80 HT means goal after half-time was probability rated at just under 70%. And another figure which is also interesting to take note of for late goals is the GT 80-70, which is marked at 50%. So what that's telling us is we expect a goal 70% of the time in the second half, and for 50% of those to be after 70 minutes. A useful tool that, and it always applies at half time. It won't work in the first half, but will continue to work in the second half. And again, we look at Switzerland, 73.68 and a 44.83 chance after 70 minutes. Moving down to Portugal, even worse, a low projection of goals in that game. So that's a very handy tool to use to identify trades and then go and research them more in the stats tab. Okay, so moving along, we have the competition. Again, sortable by alphabetical order. I prefer to sort by scores, so we'll return to that. The actual match in play, the league positions, and the total sample size. Now, the total sample size, as we've discussed before, is the amount of times that scenario has played out in that league. As we can see here, 3-2 with a 0-1 at half time after 74 minutes. We actually don't have any samples of that because it's the first time it's occurred. So you should be very wary of doing any trades with a sample size of below 10. And as we can see here, Portugal Setchball 1-1 at half time. No surprise that there's 19 samples of that. And 73 from Hungary coming up to 1-0 at half time. Here in the stats column, the first half goal, the chance of another first half goal once one has been scored. And as you'd expect, Hungary game, 37 minutes, quite a late goal, 41 gone in the first half, and just under a 20% chance of a first half goal. They do turn up, they do get the 80% ones. You'll usually find those in a game which has 2 quick goals at the start of the half, so keep an eye out for those. Now up here we've got the goal plus column. This indicates the probability of another goal from the time of the first goal in the match. So this is reading 100, which can be largely ignored because we have a sample size of 0. I'll have to ask about that one. I'm not sure why it's showing 100. You'd expect it to show 0. But here's a better example. If we go down to Hungary, and it's Újpest versus Zalaegerszeg. It's coming up to half time, as we've seen, 1-0. And Gamestate is telling us from this point in the match at 41 minutes that there is a 78.08% chance of another goal. Likewise for goal plus plus, which would be 2 goals, it's offering us a 50.68% chance. Now what's important to remember is that will decay over time, and the longer it stays 1-0, this obviously will reduce as we head towards the final whistle. If the score changes, this may well change as well. We might have a scenario where a team has gone 1-1 just before half time, and of course that means there are now 12 samples where it's always had another goal. So this will change depending on the game state and the time of the goals. Moving across, we have the volume in the match, Betfair. the home, draw and away odds and the value trades as we've discussed. In the next column is next goal, home, away and no goal, and followed by our both teams to score, overs and cards in the match. So that's your overall view of the console. Now I'm going to talk about categories and alerts. As we can see, we have around 9 different types of alerts separate from our Trade on Sports overs bot as well. So we alert you to matches that have a very early home goal, a very early away goal, quick fire home goals, 2 inside 10 minutes in the 20-minute opening time frame, and vice versa for quick fire away. And also quick response, where we see a quick equaliser within 10 minutes of the opening 20 minutes of the match. A very early goal and a quick response, which would be a combination of very early home, very early away, and a quick response. The same goes for very early quick fire home, an early goal followed by another one for the home team, and vice versa for the away team down here under VEQFA. So we have one alert in progress at the moment, and that's called the Fight Back second half, and that happened to be the last one on our list of category alerts. So a fight back second half at 1-0 or 0-1 at half time, and the team either losing home or away has come back within 56 minutes to make it 1-1. So as with all of the alerts, when you hover over them, and you might need to give them a minute to populate once that goal's happened. If there's an early goal, give it a minute and it'll show up with the information. So Gamestate analysis here is telling us what's happened. It said we've had an early goal in the second half to make it 1-1, and probability from this point in the match says there is a 78.26% chance of a further goal and a 43.48% chance of 2 with a sample size of 46. Now in this game it went a bit goal crazy. It does happen, and from that 1-1 there had been another 3 goals. So you will decide what level of percentage you feel this is tradable at. I like to move in around about 87 to 90% in games, and they occur a lot in very early aways and very early homes. So there's the category alerts explained for you. It's self-explanatory really. If you just go and hover over them, and during a busy match day they will pop up. You might get 5 or 6 at a time. You might not see one for 20 minutes. It's just the way that the matches pan out. The alert column is yellow, and you will see a toss overs alert. I think I have a still for that to show you. There you go. And that's indicating a bot trade that we do as a set and forget. You'll also receive a Telegram alert on the channel for that as well. So finally, going on to the last 2 columns, we have a watch column. So if you're interested in a trade for a bit later on in the match, you can highlight. And also if you've got some money on in that trade. And they, of course, are all sortable as well, ascending and descending. You might want to get rid of the nil-nils at half time, or matches that you're no longer interested in, which is the sample size. So you would just cross them off like that and reduce the workload on your scanning of the console to find a good trade. I hope that's helped explain more or less how the console works. Please don't forget to like and share our videos. And also, if you'd like to join Trade on Sports and work with our software, please feel free to click the link on the description underneath the video. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.